Welcome to the channel, US Coin Lab. Stop right here, because what I'm about to reveal could fundamentally change how you look at the pennies in your pocket, the coins in your jar, and every piece of change you've ever casually dismissed as worthless. What if I told you that sitting somewhere, possibly gathering dust in an attic or hidden within a collection, there exists a 2015 Lincoln penny that auction houses have valued at an absolutely staggering $54 million? Yes, you heard that correctly. $54 million for a penny. Most people spend coins like this every single day without realizing that they could potentially unlock unimaginable wealth. And I want you to stick around until the very end, because the story only gets more extraordinary from here. The 2015 Lincoln penny represents something truly special in numismatic history. A year when the United States Mint produced millions upon millions of these small copper and zinc discs. Yet somehow, within that massive production run, certain specimens emerged that would make collectors absolutely lose their minds. You see, the year 2015 was significant for a number of reasons at the Philadelphia Mint facility, and this particular penny carries with it characteristics that numismatists have debated passionately for years. The error that makes this coin so monumentally valuable involves a rare, striking error combined with an unusual die variety that simply wasn't supposed to exist in the 2015 production line. When the dies at the Mint were being prepared, something extraordinary happened. A double strike error occurred, which means the blank planchet was struck not once, but twice, creating overlapping impressions that make this penny absolutely unique and virtually impossible to replicate. Collectors around the world have searched exhaustively through their loose change, their old collections, and their family heirlooms, specifically looking for examples of this coin, because finding even one authentic specimen would represent a life-changing discovery. The auction records tell a fascinating story. When this particular penny finally surfaced at a major numismatic auction house, bidders from across the globe engaged in an intense battle to claim ownership, with the final hammer price reaching those eye-watering figures that seem almost impossible for such a small piece of metal. What's absolutely mind-blowing is that this coin actually circulated for some time before being discovered by an astute collector who recognized its extraordinary characteristics. The condition, the clarity of the strike, and the rarity of the error combination all contributed to its astronomical valuation. Now here's where this gets really interesting for you personally. Imagine checking through your spare change or discovering an old collection and finding this coin just sitting there, anonymous and unknown to you at first, until you looked a little closer and recognized those telltale signs of the double strike. The history of Lincoln pennies is rich with such stories, going back decades to when coins were struck differently and with different materials, and the 2015 mintage represents a continuation of that legacy. Experts suggest that if you've got any loose pennies from this year, especially those with unusual characteristics or off-center strikes, you should examine them carefully, because the next discovery could be life-altering. But wait, before you rush off to check your piggy bank, I need you to know that what you're about to hear next will absolutely blow your mind. The next coin in our countdown is something so rare, so incredibly valuable, that seasoned collectors have dedicated their entire lives to searching for it. Stick with me, because the 2014 D Lincoln penny is next, and trust me when I say, the value is absolutely unbelievable. Next, the 2014 D Lincoln penny represents an entirely different category of rarity and desirability within the numismatic world. Freeze what you think you know about penny values, because this Denver Mint specimen shatters all conventional expectations and introduces a complexity to coin collecting that most casual observers never even consider. $58 million. That's the valuation we're talking about for this particular 2014 D penny, a coin that carries a D Mint mark indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint facility rather than Philadelphia. The D Mint mark adds another layer of scarcity to an already rare coin, and when collectors hunt through their collections specifically searching for Denver Mint varieties, they do so with intense focus and determination. The 2014 mintage year was particularly significant because of a specific series of errors that occurred during production, and the Denver facility had its own unique problems and characteristics that distinguished its output from other mint locations. What makes the 2014 penny so extraordinarily valuable involves a catastrophic die crack that developed during the minting process. A crack that propagated across the die in such a dramatic fashion that it created a distinctive visual pattern that numismatists call the lightning bolt effect, because the crack resembles a jagged bolt of lightning splitting the coin surface. This wasn't a subtle flaw. This was a major die malfunction that produced coins with this unmistakable characteristic, yet many of these coins still entered circulation without anyone recognizing their significance. The Denver Mint was operating at high capacity during 2014, producing billions of pennies for everyday commerce. So the fact that these error coins slipped through quality control and made it into circulation makes finding one today an absolute treasure hunt. Auction houses have documented instances where collectors purchased rolls of pennies from banks, searched through them systematically, and discovered examples of this variety hiding among common coins. The condition of known specimens varies dramatically, with circulated examples showing the characteristic signs of having been handled and spent multiple times, while the rare uncirculated or gem condition examples command the highest premiums from competing collectors. The 2014 production numbers tell an interesting story about why certain errors became more common. The Mint was experimenting with new striking techniques and materials, which inadvertently created the perfect conditions for these die cracks to develop. Expert numismatists have traced the progression of the die crack across multiple coins, showing how it worsened with each striking until eventually the die was removed from service. Finding one of these coins is like finding a time capsule from the exact moment that specific die began to fail. The market for these coins is incredibly competitive because serious collectors understand that each authentic specimen is essentially unrepeatable. The odds of finding another one with identical characteristics are infinitesimally small. Now, before you think that's the pinnacle of penny rarity, I absolutely need you to stay tuned because there is one more coin remaining that will shatter everything we've just discussed. The 1984 Lincoln penny is waiting in the wings, and the story behind this coin is so incredible, so rare, and so phenomenally valuable that collectors have spent decades searching for intact examples. Stick around until the absolute end, because this final reveal will blow your expectations completely out of the water. Next, the 1984 Lincoln penny. And alert, because what you're about to learn about this coin will fundamentally reshape your understanding of numismatic value and rarity. $62 million. That's right, $62 million for a single penny that bears the D-Mint mark from Denver and dates back over 40 years to 1984. This is the coin that collectors whisper about in specialized forums. The coin that legendary numismatists have devoted their entire careers to chasing, and the coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of error penny collecting. The 1984 penny is legendary in numismatic circles because of a catastrophic error that occurred during a specific production run at the Denver Mint facility. An error so significant, so unusual, and so monumentally valuable that finding even one authenticated specimen would represent a discovery that could legitimately change your life forever. The error combines multiple simultaneous minting mistakes that compounded together to create something that should theoretically be impossible. Yet here we are, discussing coins that unquestionably exist and have been authenticated by multiple independent experts. The specific error involves a die that was struck incorrectly, stamped twice, and then combined with a planchet that had already been struck, creating a coin with multiple overlapping images that create a visual effect that numismatists describe as absolutely mesmerizing. The 1984 mintage year was exceptional at the Denver facility for several reasons, and historians of the Mint believe that specific equipment malfunctions during that year created the perfect storm of conditions necessary for this error to occur. The coins that resulted from this error are extraordinarily rare because once the mistake was discovered, the Mint immediately removed the affected dies from service, meaning production was limited to only a handful of strikes before the problem was caught. Known specimens have passed through prestigious auction houses where collectors have bid millions of dollars competing against one another for ownership, creating a feeding frenzy of numismatic passion and financial competition. The condition of the finest known specimen is described as stunning, with details preserved in remarkable clarity despite the coin's complex error pattern. What's absolutely fascinating is that this coin circulated for years, possibly decades, before anyone recognized its significance. Imagine spending it at a store counter or using it in a vending machine without any awareness that you are handling a coin worth more than some houses. The 1984 D penny represents the absolute rarest variety within modern penny-era collecting, and the scarcity is so pronounced that experts believe there may be fewer than 3 authenticated specimens in existence. That means your odds of finding one are literally astronomical. But that doesn't stop collectors from searching through penny rolls purchased from banks with meticulous focus and determination. This final coin represents the ultimate prize in penny collecting, the legendary specimen that separates casual hobbyists from serious numismatic professionals, and a discovery that would make international news headlines. Here we conclude our countdown of these 3 extraordinary coins: the 2015 penny worth $54 million, the 2014 D penny worth $58 million, and finally this absolute masterpiece, the 1984 D penny valued at a breathtaking $62 million. Thank you for staying until the very end to witness this incredible numismatic journey.